corrida. Jogo do Brasil rolando, estamos aqui. Que cidade é essa? Vamos ver. Eu acho que é Watkins Glen mesmo, se brincar. Não tô brincando, não. Estamos 2 horas de Watkins Glen, mas saímos do aeroporto de Buffalo agora. O dia inteiro viajando praticamente. A gente fez Orlando, que é onde eu moro, para Nova York capital. E de lá eu vou para Buffalo. E agora mais 2 horas de carro passando aqui pelo interior de Nova York. Cidadezinha parece de filme mesmo, aquelas Main Street, igreja, local, bem bacana. E é isso, segui viagem agora pro hotel. Chegamos aqui 9h15 da noite no hotel, dá uma descansada, que amanhã é um dia bem longo, fim de semana aqui mais compacto. Então a gente vai entrar amanhã na pista 8 da manhã, que é o horário que é autorizado para começar a montagem do box e tudo mais. Nessa etapa não tem box montado, como vocês continuam a ver geralmente de tenda e tudo mais. É um box de garagem, como tem no Brasil, uma estrutura pronta já, que você monta seu carro nessa garagem fixa do autódromo. Então um pouco mais rápido essa parte de montagem. E o dia começa já por aí já, então 11h30 já vai ter a inspeção pré-evento de segurança do carro, que eles olham todas as partes de banco, cinto, essas partes aí de número, numeração, se está válido ou não o carro. E daí inicia o fim de semana oficialmente, 2h55 da tarde, mesmo dia de amanhã já, com um treino 1, sem track walk. Então para quem não conhece o autódromo, pode ser uma dificuldade, mas infelizmente minha terceira vez correndo aqui já, corri ano passado e corri em 2022. Minha primeira prova de carro aqui nos Estados Unidos foi essa pista aqui de Watkins Glen, então tenho muito carinho pelo autódromo aqui. Gosto muito da traçado, essa traçada é espetacular, muito rápido, um asfalto de muita aderência, então é bem divertido de guiar, um pouco perigoso, mas faz parte. E é isso, estou animado, nem muito bem aqui ano passado, brigamos pela vitória até o final. Então é isso, vamos agora seguir viagem, dar uma descansada que amanhã tem mais. Valeu!
Vamos que vamos, vamos que vamos. Meio nublado hoje aqui. Chuvoso. Vamos pra cima. Primeiro dia, quinta-feira. Watkins Glen, 29 minutos. 18 milhas. Start.
Bom dia.
Bom dia, bom dia. Primeiro dia.
Primeiro dia.
Um dia intenso ontem.
Hoje vai ser mais ainda, né?
Hoje vai ser mais ainda. É tudo no mesmo dia, né?
Treino 2h50, com descarga de carreta às 8.
Carreta começa às 8, é?
Exato, horário liberado da categoria para poder abrir a carreta e descarregar os carros, equipamentos e tudo mais. É às 8. E estamos na pista 12h50 já, então corrida.
2h50 é o nosso primeiro treino, né?
Primeiro treino oficial, exato.
O carro não fez nem 1000 milhas ainda.
Zero.
Todo canto empregando, a partir de $16 a hora. No interiorzinho desse McDonald's, 16 mil habitantes. Estão pagando $16 a hora.
Ali no Dunkin', já tá no drive-thru ainda.
Combustível barato, R$3,99. Muita montanha, né? Essa região. Tem as vinícolas, né? Aí é o aeroporto.
Você acha que é Almira esse aí, né?
Agora é engraçado que é um perto, né? Vamos dizer assim, 2 horas e pouca para Nova York. Mas aqui não é o Nova York que todo mundo espera, né? Aqui é o Upstate New York, né?
O trade é completamente diferente. Outro povo, outra cultura.
Aí paramos aqui agora. Dunkin' Donuts. São 6h50 da manhã. Celso Neto foi fazer o pedido aqui pro café da manhã da turma, pra gente chegar na pista. Daqui pra pista são mais ou menos 35 minutos. E aí a gente chegar na pista com o café da turma, que eles estão saindo muito cedo e não dá tempo de parar pra comer. Estamos esperando. Pegou tudo? Let's go?
Bora.
Fazendo a turma aí. Tem que ajudar ele. Vamos que vamos. Bom dia. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good
How are
morning.
you, sir?
Very good, very good.
Good morning.
We have garage. Olá. Primeiro dia assim, chega, tem que arrumar box, pit, as mesas. Aí, ó. Tirando tudo do caminhão. Carro sendo descarregado agora. Tá vendo lá? Aqui são os bastidores. 8 da manhã. Descarregando tudo. As equipes aqui, ó, todo mundo. Essa balança foi uma novela, hein, Celso? Depois da aprovação da IMSA no último minuto.
Compramos lá na República Tcheca.
República Tcheca.
Basicamente ela mede o fluxo de combustível usando o peso do fuel rig, né? O fuel rig segura o combustível, a torre de abastecimento. Quando ela baixou o peso, essa balança também prende isso, então a gente vê quanto você tem que estar no carro de peso, né? E com o peso a gente converte para litros, você sabe quanto combustível entra no carro na parada de box. Então acho que
Maravilha.
a estratégia e mais.
Tá dentro. Estamos aqui hoje, aí ó. Coincidência. Não vai ter chuva na corrida, mas agora no treino 1 vai ter chuva. A gente vai sair na chuva de todo jeito, pra dar uma olhada. E a coincidência aqui, ó. Número de Celso no Brasil, 22. No sorteio caiu box 22, carro 77. Aí. Coincidência. Cada corrida a gente recebe 2 carrinhos de golfe. Um deles vem com esse adesivo laranja, que dá acesso a todo o paddock, toda a área geral. E o outro que tá ali, ele tá com adesivo verde, desculpa, que dá direito ao pit também. Então ele vai pro pit também. Carro já todo alinhado, setup de chuva já no lugar. Você vê que já estão pneus de chuva. O pneu slick tá lá guardado ali. E o Ami, nosso engenheiro. E o John é o da NGP, que faz toda a parte de peças, toda a parte de suporte para Cupra, Audi e Volkswagen aqui nos Estados Unidos, é o John. Então ele é o representante da marca aqui para América. Aqui ó, NGP, Cupra, Audi e Volkswagen. Aqui ó, John tá indo pra Brasil aí, o YouTube. Aí ó, tudo peça de Cupra, é ele. Dali John. Aí Celso, traduz aí.
John é nosso distribuidor oficial da Cupra, Audi e Volkswagen aqui nos Estados Unidos. Ele é todo apoio de peças, posições, coloquei a bateria nova pro carro, então ele tem um inteiro para toda a corrida e dá esse apoio para as equipes que correm com essas marcas, oficial da própria.
E o caminhão dele, o truck, tá aqui na pista com tudo.
Aqui atrás todas as peças que precisam, motor, câmbio, reserva.
Se precisar de um motor, de um câmbio,
para-choque,
todas
as peças do carro que talvez não tenha no nosso caminhão,
o John traz.
Isso.
E o que é que você trocou no carro agora aí?
A gente pegou uma bateria nova, reserva.
Cadê a bateria?
Tá ali atrás da caixa de madeira. Ele trouxe, deixou aí já pra cada vez que precisa e tá...
Nova bateria. Trocou também essa barra. O que é que trocou da última corrida pra cá?
Trocou essa barra dianteira de para-choque.
Tava um pouquinho empenada, trocou ela, né?
Um pouco empenada. algumas coisas de funilaria do para-choque que deu, enfim.
Trocou a suporte do farol também?
Foi.
E o turbo, né? Trocou o turbo também. Turbo novo também. Muito bom. A visita ilustre do pessoal da Pagid. Freios. Pessoal aqui discutindo, conversando estratégias. Muito top. Estamos aqui. Mais uma vez vamos dividir com o Penske. O box de Felipe Nasce aí, ó. Ele é 7, a gente é 77. Estamos aqui. Mas bem batom.
Bom, galera, aqui no autódromo já, dia 1 oficialmente começamos aqui. Como podem ver atrás, bastante chuva caindo. Nunca é muito positivo treinar na chuva, correr uma coisa, mas treinar outra. Então, mas estamos aqui, né? Faz parte. Todo mundo tá na pista agora. O carro tá pronto aqui atrás, pneu de chuva montado. Daqui a uma hora a gente tem um treino 1, tem um treino mais pra gente sentir a pista, relembrar alguns pontos importantes. E é isso, a equipe tá trabalhando bem aqui. Vamos pra cima, hoje foi um dia bem corrido. Só pôde abrir hoje a carreta 8 da manhã, então a gente teve aí de 8 até agora 1h30, todo esse trabalho de inspeção pré-evento, pegar todo o combustível, nitrogênio da equipe, deixar o carro pronto de ser acerto, mas tudo correu muito bem e estamos preparados, vamos pra cima.
Final de semana aqui que tá correndo de Lamborghini também, estamos aqui, hora de torcer por ele aqui, ó.
Tem P7 agora, companheiro dele, o Tyler Gonzalez. Inclusive corre também na TCR contra mim. Corre também de Cupra. Baita piloto, né? Vamos torcer pra ele que vai ganhar aqui. Tá em P7, é? P7 geral.
Agora é a hora do quali, tudo preparado, carro já quente, os últimos ajustes, todo mundo aqui preparado. Já todo mundo no pit alinhado. Primeiro vai ser os TCRs, depois soltam os GT4.
for the first lap. It was MMG's Honda Civic from Stallion with Go Racing and the Cupra Leon, the number 77 Rafael Reis car. Then Tyler Chambers from Hart, the Honda Civic, right in the mix there. Then a couple of Audis, Baker Racing, the 52 car. But that TCR 77 is going to have a drive-through, changing columns before the start line. An absolute no-no, and he dropped, yes he did, dropped in behind LP as they went to the line, but he did it before the line. That's a slam dunk, and that car will come through to serve the drive-through penalty. The only good thing I can say about that Ryan Marine for the number 77 crew and that grey Cupra is he's got an hour and 56.5 minutes to make that back.
Yeah, get it out of the way early. Never great to pick up a drive-through, but at least if it happens early in the race, you have some opportunity to try and come back. And we know that car is quick. Second fastest, well, I'll take that back, but he was up towards the front at least in that qualifying session. And right now doing a good job to keep with LP Montour, perhaps driving a little bit angry knowing he has that drive-through penalty coming. That's something we saw a lot of, didn't we? At the very start of the season, there were a lot of newcomers to the IMSA Championship, and that is a rule that maybe you don't see elsewhere around the world. It's pretty commonplace here in the U.S., not wanting to change lanes, coming to the green flag at the initial start before that start line. By this point in the season, though, John, you really need to know that regulation. That is so costly for a front-running car.
You see that's really important that these cars can really have the compliancy with their suspension to ride those curves. We are seeing an early penalty coming up on the board here, a false start, changing columns for the 77, one of the lead cars in TCR. Thus Reese behind the wheel of the Stanley Motorsports with Go Racing. Let's take a look at it.
Take a look for the 77, who is outside the front row. He cannot change columns before the start line, and that was an easy call to make.
Yeah, you can see him there just moving over at the right-hand side. It's instinctive. You really need it to be drilled in your brain before the start here by your team manager or strategist on the box. Do not change columns. It's so easy for a young driver just to think, okay, I missed the start a little bit. Let's tuck in behind the pole sitter there. But that was too early. You've got to wait for the stripe.
And for Rafael Reis, doesn't have a lot of time in IMSA competition, just 4 starts. Easy to forget that. Different rules throughout the world where he races. He's Brazilian stock car series, and you just want to protect that inside line at the start. You don't want to get jumped on the way down to turn 1, but when you have to go all the way to the back with a drive-through penalty, yeah, that one hurts.
It does. It's 30 seconds transition time here down pit lane. Here's a relatively long pit lane. Delta's probably going to be about 20. You've got a couple of laps here to serve it, so he's going to be peeling in.
Tell you what, they may not like his pit in either. He was 4 wheels outside the solid line and then dropped in late, so we'll have to see. They add a little insult to the injury that he already has. But talk about this racetrack, Calvin. It is incredibly quick
To the end of the race, and she's going to have to look after those tyres, so perhaps not able to push quite as hard. There was a little pit stop saving from car bomb, but that's not what made it all the time.
Not all of it, but that was certainly part, about 2-3 seconds, the difference in terms of time spent in the pit lane, and that helps. I think you're right about the traffic when Greenmeyer came out. She didn't have clear track to take full advantage of the undercut, and just also the difference in the tires that they went to there, having to work up the stickers versus the scuffs for the BMW that are going to be in their window a little bit quicker. So a few things factored in there.
And we can watch the race off pit road because the leader, the number 55, Go Racing with Stallion, Leon VCR comes in. And what a great stint by the dad. Lalo, Go, Eduardo got it done. They started 10th. He had cycled up to the lead, made the fuel work. They're fine the rest of the way. And his son Eddie just got in the car now. So we'll see where they come out in track position with the number 5 car. Trying to get it full with fuel, but they're in good shape. Again, they've gotten past the midpoint, and this includes the pace laps as well here. And we'll see the race here coming off pit lane. And the 55 is away.
For working on the car from behind the wall, but the bigger issue is that they were working on the car at all. There was evidently contact in the pit lane. I think Stephen McAleer in the Auto Technic car was the other car involved in that, and whether that was cause or if it was unrelated, there was a fuel pump issue subsequent to that on the 19 Stephen Cameron car, and they have consequently dropped well down the order.
just to reset that TCR order. It is hot in the Honda Civic that lead from KMW Motorsports. Tim Lewis in second, Eddie Gore is in third in the Audi number 55, Mason Filippi, Celso Neto, and in sixth place Caleb Bacon in the Victor Gonzalez racing cars.
It was a difficult start to the race for Rafael Rice and the Stallion Motorsports Cupra. It's coming across at the start into the wrong lane and a penalty as a result. But Rafael, overall, I think we are seeing a lot of improvement from you and the team about halfway through this year. You're no stranger to the Cupra. You've raced in TCR South America without missing a race for 6 years. But what's the transition been like to come here into endurance racing in IMSA?
Yes, it's going great. I think this is the 550 race right now, so there's something changed, but yes, in the start for me, when it's green, but I have to go straight until the finish start line, so I made a mistake, that's happened, but we are fast. I think we can still fight for the podium, maybe. Let's see.
You might need to stop again, that's what you and I were just talking about, but what's the transition been like racing now in America? I know you've fantasized dreams about this for a long time. It's been a goal of yours, and you've been racing at some great American tracks.
Yes, it's amazing to be here, like racing like in Daytona, here, Watkins Glen, Laguna Seca. So for me, it's a dream. Something is really different, but you know, I'm really okay with the Cupra. It's my 4th or 5th year with the Cupra, so it's fine. The races here was very good, you know, the public, everything, the atmosphere, so I'm happy here. I'm happy.
Think about everything that team has been through today, starting at the back, and they've done everything right to the point. Tim Lewis is to the point, just got past Chad Gilsinger in the other Honda, and the 5 now up front.
Yeah, so Honda 1-2 still up front of this motor race, but don't discount the 2 youngsters behind. Neto is really flying aboard the number 77 car. That's after a penalty, remember. They got that early penalty for his teammate jumping out of line there at the drop of the green here today. So been a brilliant comeback drive. And that Go Racing number 55, that bright orange machine, is right there as well. This could really compress into a 3-car fight for the lead here shortly.
Honda, Cupra, Audi, and really the Cupra and the Audi share a lot of the same platform, I believe, so that is interesting. And man, Neto all over the back of Gilsinger right now, and you've got to think for Chad, not only does he want to run up front, would he like to win this race, but you want Honda to win this race, so how difficult is he going to make it for Neto? And this fight for second place, I believe, is allowing Tim Lewis to continue to pull out a lead.
And that's a long way home from there at the front of TCR. Chad Gilsinger's just lost the lead. We've got a new leader. Tim Lewis is at the front of TCR. And that's changed since they went across the line. Across the line at the end of the 43rd lap. It was the Hart Honda that was leading. But now it's all changed. Gilsinger to second, Tim Lewis leading, Celso Neto right there, Eddie Gore right there, and Mason Filippi only another 6 seconds further back. What happened there to Chad Gilsinger in the early part of the lap? Was that traffic? Was it being overtaken? But now he's fighting for his life to stay in second place, Ryan.
You correctly identified the opening sector of the lap as the place where it all went sideways, about 2 seconds slower than the rest of these front runners in TCR, and that apparently opened the door for Lewis to get by. And the troubles, as you point out, aren't over yet, because here comes the rest of this TCR field. Gilsinger's going to have his hands full, dealing first with Celso Neto, but then Go as well, right there in the bright orange car coming out of the final turn.
Good run with everybody in line astern there. Down to the first corner, just coming down to half an hour to go. Already trying to think about my Michelin moment of the race. There's that outside pass that Philip Ellis pulled to take the position earlier on. He might not be finished yet because he's down to just 5.5 seconds now from the leader, and the Hart car does lose another position, drops back. That was a tidy move as well by Celso Neto. He goes into second. Eddie Gore now sniffs a podium for the Go Racing with Stallion car. We might have two of the Stallion Go Racing partnership cars on the pole position. There must be an issue with the Hart car. It just doesn't have the speed down the straights here. It's almost like a sitting duck here.
It does look that way. And remember, the very start of the race, the pole-sitting car was another Honda that dropped out with a power delivery issue in the opening 15 minutes, the MMG car. I don't know if there's a connection there, but it's enough to make you wonder.
Let's go down to our BDO pit lane reporter, and Arjuna Kankapati has anticipated our question. What have you got from Hart Racing?
Well, remember, Rafael Rice said that he wasn't sure if the 77 Stallion Cupra would be good to the end, and Hart have told me fuel saving is the name of the game right now, John. They don't want to have to make that extra trip down pit lane.
Really? Wow. Okay, 29 minutes to go. That's halfway through the stint. That's not when you start saving fuel, though, surely. And that is the third position gone. Chad Gilsinger been given a number to hit. My goodness me, if that's the case, then everybody in front of him could be in trouble, Ryan. We might not have seen the end of this TCR race yet.
I'll say this, though, that 89 car of Gilsinger, as well as, let's see, that's Neto, I think also, both pitted with an hour and 4, nearly an hour and 5 minutes on the clock. That's when they entered the pit lane. Now, they would have been in the pits for a while before heading back out, but it still would have been over an hour to go when they exited the pits, an hour and several minutes, in fact. So we felt that a one-stop was pretty comfortable in TCR, but I think we also felt that a yellow was likely at some point in this race, and that we haven't seen that to this point. So that puts the TCR cars in a bit of a conundrum. Those that went closer to the hour mark are probably feeling a little bit more comfortable. Tim Lewis, for instance, that car pitted.
He's in control right now, but you cannot count out Philip Ellis, who's actually just flashed the wrong lights at the TCR car ahead. He flashed the four-way flashers there as he was coming down towards turn 1. The gap 3.7, even with Ellis in traffic, Ryan Marine, he's still making up time.
Yeah, found another 2, nearly 3/10 on that most recent lap. It's amazing. It was about an 8-second deficit coming out of the pits with a little over 45 minutes or so to go. About half of that time has elapsed, down to 22.5 minutes to go, and he's cut away half the deficit. So I think at this pace, he will get to Westfall, but only just as we get into the waning moments of the race. And of course, that's dependent on traffic, that's dependent on tire wear. Ellis, though, so decisive working through these battles, positions that car in a way that it makes it very clear to the TCR cars, I'm coming through, that's the situation, deal with it. And Jeff Westphal now has an unobstructed view in the rearview mirror of that hard-charging Windward Racing Mercedes that is slowly but surely closing in.
Keep an eye on the splits here through the traffic. Philip Ellis has been impressive, just pulling out behind the bright orange AMG. That is a lap back. That is the number 24 of Kenny Murillo and Murillo Racing. Not very often you say that of Kenny, so he must have had some issues. 20 minutes to go, 21 and a half actually. Let's have a BDO pit lane report from Arjuna Kankapati. Anybody looking really nervous in terms of the fuel? You've asked the questions. I know you've already been up and down the GS field and the TCR field to see who thinks they are tight and who is looking cool, calm and collected. Arjuna.
I've been a bit more focused on TCR, John, and it does seem as though the Hart team are very close. We heard about 58 minutes of green flag running time, and to extend that by another 6 minutes or so is asking for a heavy fuel save. So a lot of work for them to do, and I think Celso Neto is in a similar spot, but tucked in behind the leader right now in a great position to sip that fuel and save, similar to what Sean McAllister did at the start of this race. Very interesting that a 2-hour race can have so many different swings and roundabouts that we've got to figure out.
Oh. Great pass for the lead. Celso Neto decides to go for it and does the outside move into the inner loop, the bus stop chicane, if you will. And that is a new first place. And that might be a Michelin moment of the race. Ryan Marine, that was decisive. Great run coming up out of the S's. And maybe now that's the number 5, Tim Lewis, having to save a bit of fuel as well because he's dropped back in the clutches of Eddie Gore. But take nothing away from that overtake by Celso Neto.
No, not at all. It was aggressive. He was committed and made it stick around the outside. I wonder if Neto hasn't been told, just go. We're not going to make it, just go. And maybe they'll catch a yellow to be able to make it to the end, because they're in the same boat as Gilsinger. They pitted at the same time. So I struggle to believe that Neto could make it if Gilsinger can't. Of this group at the front, Lewis should be in about the best position. Go very similar actually to Lewis. So I think they pitted on the same lap as well. So that's a real fight there. The fight that's technically second and third. Lewis in the Honda, Go in the Audi. They are on the same sequence. They pitted on the same lap. I think if anybody can make it without a yellow, it's those two. I'm not that confident in Neto, who, as you can see if you've got the pictures, pitted 3 laps before the duo that's fighting for second and third at the moment.
And he allows him to go by because he's got Celso Neto, Tim Lewis does, just behind him. The black number 5 with that gray 77 just behind.
Yeah, really finding that cadence with the traffic is so important so you don't lose too much time. And he couldn't afford to just give a big lift and let Ellis take his time getting by, because Neto is right there, as you can see there, as both these cars now coming into that break zone with some traffic from GS, the number 24. Splitting them momentarily at least.
And you know Tim Lewis is going, thank you very much, Kenny Murillo. I very much appreciate that, because placing that AMG Mercedes there has allowed a little bit of separation. It's going to go away when they get to the front straightaway, and Murillo, you would think, would drive by the Honda. Different class racing once again, and that's going to allow Neto to close back up. But for now, anyway, that GS car between Tim Lewis and Celso Neto just behind is a little bit of a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and that gap there is now 3.5 seconds. So despite having to fight his way through that TCR traffic, Ellis again trims another couple of tenths out of that lead on Jeff Westphal. So you look and say, call it just 10 laps to go. 3.5 seconds. He needs 3.5 tenths a lap to get to the leader, and Westphal's got to manage that gap.
Well, I talk about managing it. Kenny Murillo did not get a good run through turn 1, turned it a little early, had to slow down at the exit. That slowed down Tim Lewis as they got to turn 2, and Neto has a run.
He does. That Cupra's really got great speed. Lewis tries to hang on to it. He has to give it up. Neto to the lead.
Impressive, impressive stuff by the youngster Celso Neto, moving to the point and got past Tim Lewis. It all started there in turn 1 when Murillo had that little bit of a problem, got in early, and the Brazilian able to take advantage, get the run up the straightaway, and got past Tim Lewis. Hey, what? Again, traffic works for you, it works against you. You would never think that you would get held up by a GS car if you're driving a TCR car, but we keep talking about the lack of the speed differential, and right there you saw it.
You really did, but what a day potentially here for Go Racing. They sit there in P3 with their own machine, and this Stallion Motorsports with Go Racing now has the lead. The young Brazilian who was awarded the IMSA Diverse Driver Development Scholarship for last year's racing that he did with Ryan Eversley, and netted him over 250 grand in assistance from IMSA and their partners to let this young driver with superb skills compete. And he stayed in TCR, and this could be a big day for the young man.
Could be a huge day for Go Racing, because you look at the 55 right there, they really are kind of running first and second because they are in support of Stallion Motorsports, right? And man, two different manufacturers, but like I said, the platform of that Cupra is very much part of the Audi, what do I want to say, lineage?
Yeah. And Audi's the only brand that's yet to hit victory lane, I believe, in TCR this year. So we've seen Honda certainly get there, the Cupra earlier this year, and obviously Hyundai. So let's see if the Audi can have their day with the 55 car still in the mix. Neto has not taken off here. It's still really close here amongst the top three in TCR. Cover them with a blanket.
Big weekend here at the Glen. Obviously sailing 6 hours at the Glen tomorrow, but qualifying coming up. A lot of smoke there through the turn at the end of the back straightaway, and it is a problem for the 39.
Here we go. This is for the lead. Neto is slowed big time. Lewis back to the front.
That is wild. All of a sudden, Celso Neto off the pace. Tim Lewis back up, and the 55 now is right there. What is going on with the 77?
That was bizarre. I thought he was almost just pulling to the side. He had some kind of terminal issue.
Oh, just awful for them. Feel for them. This has been their season, unfortunately, so far. Just one good result. 14th in points coming into this weekend. Championship runners-up a year ago.
Still the battle at the front of TCR. And, oh, now there is, right, there's a yellow and red flag out on the short chute. Now that is often called the fluids flag or the oil flag. It means there's something on the surface of the track that shouldn't be there. My guess, because of where it is, that is tyre debris from that car barn car. I don't think it's fluids, but we'll have a good look the next time they go through the short chute down to turn 6 out of the outer loop. But that was the sort of area that we first saw that tyre smoke from the left rear of the car barn car. Now the lead has changed as well in that battle whilst we were watching all of the action, and this must be fuel saving, Ryan.
I think it is for Neto, who, as we discussed, I think is in some trouble from a fuel perspective. Also in trouble right now is Matt Plum. This is another crew.
Now, Tim Lewis is going to have to negotiate it right now.
What is going on with Neto? I mean, he's just got really inconsistent performance. He just slows, and then he's got speed again. Saw him really sideways coming through turn 9. Well, he's trying to wring every ounce of speed out of it, but he seems to have some kind of intermittent issue with that number 77 car.
And you wonder, is it perhaps that he can't get top gear? Is he stuck in a gear? Is he slow in certain places because he doesn't have enough RPM, or slow because he has too much RPM and is on the limiter?
Look at the car in the backdrop, Brian. That's our championship leader. We talk about the 95 car getting their car up into the top 5, and now our top 3 position in GS. This is our TCR championship leader coming in, not having a great qualifying run, not a great start to the race, but they're suddenly there when it counts at the end.
The oil coolers at the front of that Mustang have been punctured by whatever that debris is that is standing straight up into the grille of that Mustang. Great save through the inner loop by Matt Plum, but my goodness me, that now has put some oil down at the inner loop and the outer loop. It's all happening, and we've still got 12.5 minutes to go. Michelin moment of the race still to come, I think, in TCR. It's almost 3 wide as they come out of the top of the climbing turns and towards the inner loop, and that's a new position. 2 positions changing there in the braking area for the inner loop, and another problem for a Cupra.
You know who's looking to catch a break is the 77, Celso Neto, saying, hey, there's a lot of debris on the racetrack. We should have a full course caution here. Kevin?
So I've been listening, and some was in Spanish on the 77 channel. Well, I just heard in English. I have no power right now. So obviously they were slow. then they were quick, so some sort of intermittent issue at some point. And there also has been conversation about debris on the track, but a chance at a win looks like it is slipping away from the 77.
Yeah, just slipped 2 more positions as the 33 and the 89 both got by. The 33 now past the 89.
To this point, we had run for an hour and 48 minutes or so, full green. What a great race we've had, and now all bets are off. Full course yellow, safety car out, safety car restart. We will split the GS and TCR fields, and that might be a problem for Tim Lewis, because there are some hobbled cars at the back of the GS field as well.
Dia bom, mais difícil hoje aqui. A corrida foi um espetáculo de pilotagem, de guiada do Rafinha, que largou na primeira fila. Um pequeno incidente na largada, um piloto deu uma puxada para ele sair um pouco da linha e tivemos um drive-thru na primeira volta, teve que fazer um drive-thru, voltamos em último com 30 e tantos segundos atrás. O Rafinha voltou para a pista, sangue no olho. Era a volta mais rápida em cima de volta mais rápida, voando. Simplesmente trouxe o carro para frente de novo do grid, veio passando 1 a 1 ali e voando. Entregou o carro a Celso Neto, que também continuou o trabalho, continuou voando. No final deu uma salvada de combustível, segurando ali atrás do primeiro lugar, ficou um tempo em segundo. Até sem a gente pedir, passou o segundo, ficou em primeiro, tudo, mas aí veio um probleminha na bomba de alta de combustível. Aí perdemos potência aí, vocês viram aí o resultado, tá? Mas fora isso foi top, vamos pra cima e tamo aí. Agora é hora do pódio de Kiko aqui, ó. Segundo final de semana da Lamborghini. Kiko com a Rafa Racing, dividindo o carro com o Tyler.
Good job. Tell me what?
The second race.
We didn't do anything. Nobody did anything.
Yeah. There it is. Bom, galera, a prova finalizada. A prova muito difícil de aceitar, né? A gente teve um pace absurdo. Eu acho que foi o 10º mais rápido que a segunda melhor volta da prova. Lideramos a prova até o finalzinho, uma ótima estratégia hoje, ótimo pitch, um ótimo stint. E faltando 15 minutos, infelizmente, a bomba de combustível se foi. E o pessoal perdendo potência cada vez mais e caindo para trás, primeiro para terceiro, depois para quinto. Teve um safety car que salvou a gente no final de completar a prova, mas infelizmente não deu, ficamos em 8º devido ao problema, mas o pace estava muito bom. A gente veio passando, liderando até o final. E deu isso, mas é o que tem, né? Faz parte de corrida, o carro sempre tem coisas que podem acontecer. Peça nova para corrida, inclusive. Mas é isso, agora vamos para o Canadá, próxima etapa, daqui 2 semanas. Muito apoio de vocês, obrigado.
Pessoal, acabou o nosso final de semana em Watkins Glen. Estou aqui com o Celso Neto e a gente vai bater um papo sobre o final de semana. Sem rir, não. Obrigado aí, até a próxima.